Trump signed an executive order today designating March as Women's History Month. Trump sticking to Gaza relocation plan as White House seems to dismiss Egyptian proposal. Fetterman, Democrat congressmember, calls out Dems' unhinged petulance after Trump speech. We're becoming the metaphorical car alarm, said Fetterman. Newsom calls biological men in women's sports deeply unfair in podcast with conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Can you believe that? It's like the Dems are coming around. Well, some of them. The NYPD makes multiple arrests at Bernard College after anti-Israel protesters take over library. After Trump threats Hamas refuse to release more hostages without Phase 2 ceasefire deal. My question is, does this make the far-right people mad, the anti-Semitics that listen to the show? I'm interested to know. Also, Trump deportation numbers are lower than Biden's currently because we have less people at the southern border who we are turning away and calling those deportations. The Border Patrol is going and removing criminals from deep in our country, and it turns out this was hard and it takes time. So for all those, saying, Biden's deportations were higher than Trump's. We're being fooled. We all got fooled to voting for Trump. Not true. Look into it and you can find out very quickly why that is. Secondly, to all the Dems who are complaining about families being torn apart, they are prioritizing criminals. Trump has made that clear. He made it clear in his address the other night, and he's made it clear through his campaign and everything. The workers that are, most of the workers that they're worried about, working hard jobs, we love them when they have work visas. And actually the farmers who I've spoken to and actually heard other stories of people speaking to them, they actually help them, they assist them in getting the visas because they don't want to lose their hard workers. So we're not getting those. Those people are not here illegally, and they have visas, and the farmers are incentivized to help them achieve those visas. So we love hardworking people, and trying to make us out like we're some racists who just want to get all the brown people out is totally false and wrong. Follow the right Democrats who are waking up to the insanity of the far left who suffer from anti-Trump derangement syndrome. Look at Congressman Fetterman. If you don't shape up, he'll be wearing a MAGA hat just like Tulsi and RFK. Financial news, Trump postpones tariffs on Mexico once again after negotiations with the Mexican president. After speaking with the president, Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, I have agreed. And this is what Trump said. After speaking with President Claudia of Mexico, I have agreed that Mexico will not be required to pay off tariffs on anything that falls under the USMCA agreement. Trump wrote, this agreement is until April 2nd. I did this as an accommodation out of respect for the president. Our relationship has been a very good one, and we are working hard together on the border, both in terms of stopping illegal aliens from entering the United States and likewise stopping fentanyl. Thank you to President Sheinbaum for your hard work and cooperation. He is using the tariff war to keep his party in power. And, from the current polls, I mean, that's what they're doing. And whatever his name is, he is going against Trump, and it's not helping him out. He should, I don't know, they got to switch up their messaging. Trump tells Trudeau fentanyl crackdown is not enough to starve off tariffs. So you got to do more in the fentanyl area. Mexico worked with us, and now look, we're postponing tariffs. So come on, Trudeau. But he won't. He wants to make it a bigger deal so that way his party stays in power. Momentum to ban Chinese farmland purchases near military bases gains steam in the Senate. Expert claims that the AI boom is over for now and will continue to flatline in 2026. Experts also claim that Trump may be purposely trying to devalue the U.S. dollar in order to attract manufacturing interests to return back to the U.S. These tariff packages will likely help some of domestic industries but hurt others, Goldman Sachs economists led by Jan Hatzius wrote in their analysis. Higher tariffs will raise prices of imported goods, boosting demand for some domestically produced goods, but tariff increases will also raise production costs for some domestic producers and will likely promote foreign retaliation against the U.S. exports, both of which could hurt domestic production. But we know that, Trump's major plan is to bring the manufacturing back. But let me guess, the Democrats will say, people can't buy eggs, the same people who complain about a 5% increase that helps domestic companies. Meanwhile, they don't even shop at the grocery store. They buy a $7 matcha every morning, and then they complain on the behalf of the people who are on welfare, who don't even pay for their own food anyway. I mean, you can't make this stuff up in a movie, pretty much. I mean, it's just, I mean, what side are they on, you know? They think because they have a degree in liberal arts or psychology that they are superior to dumb old uneducated Trump supporters who have real jobs, real families, and pay for their food with their own money. Just be on the American side and we would all get along. Even Gavin Newsom's figuring that out. I mean, for God's sakes. Some local news, get the chance to earn a free In-N-Out at your local Kern County Library through the Cover to Cover Club from until April 12th. Kids ages 4 to 12 can receive a free In-N-Out by reading 5 books or have 300 minutes of reading time to earn a burger. They can even earn 3 achievement cards, which equals 3 burgers, for reading 15 books and having 900 minutes of reading time. You know, that's just what we need. We need kids to be sitting down more, reading more, and eating more cheeseburgers. You know, is there a ton of kids that can't read, or are 40% of the kids obese? You know, we need to do like a run, like go on a run and you can get a cheeseburger. How about that? That's just bad incentives. We gotta be up against this. You know, they're all for reading, but it's like, man, you can't read if your heart stops, you know? The protests began, let's see, on Wednesday, a massive group of protesters united in front of the Kern County Administrative Building in response of what they call the county's unfair bargaining and staffing crisis. Oh yeah, it's totally unfair. And it's totally fair that these unions can, you know, be dependent on county contracts and they can go protest and not go to work for weeks on end. But yet the taxpayers, we can't miss our jobs and go down to the county and protest. And they rely on like 2 or 3 people saying, hey, you know, thanks for saving the tax dollars here. I mean, with Measure In and all these other tax things they got going on, we can't afford any of this. But, you know, so I guess one of the people that were protesting from the news got their testimony. They said, we'll see what these idiots decide to do. And if nothing moves, we strike again, said attorney Alterio Reverino with the Public Defender's Office. Not everyone is on board with the strike, especially mothers trying to get their children back who were taken away by social services. Mother of 2, Teke Hue, is against the protest. Then she said, this shouldn't be appropriate. They should be at their job. They should be watching us visit our kids right now, instead of pulling away time from that time. Said, they shouldn't be able to sit and protest. They need to be sitting with me so I can be with my kids because I'm not trusted to be with them. She is right, though. I mean, think about it. We pay them so that way they can do this, and the mothers can eventually one day be with their kids, right? And, you know, bring them back to try to help people. And they're spending all their time on the side of the street trying to get a 15% raise or 21% raise, which will in turn, 6% of it or 9% of it will then go to the union. I mean, this is crazy. A bit of history. On this day, Valentina Vladimirov Tereskivov. Okay, bear with me here because this is a very interesting part of history, but it's like Russian words a lot, and I just can't read, nor can I read Russian. So she was born in March 6th, 1973. Who was she? She was a Russian engineer, member of the State of Duma, and a former Soviet cosmonaut. She was the first woman in space, having flown a solo mission on Vostok 6 on 16 June 1963. Wow. She orbited the Earth 48 times, spent almost 3 days in space, and is the only woman to have been on a solo space mission, and is the last surviving Vostokov programmee cosmonaut. 26 years old at the time of her space flight, she remains the youngest woman to have flown in space under the international definition of the 100-kilometer altitude, and the youngest woman to fly in Earth orbit. Before her selection for the Soviet Union space program, Tereshkova was a textile factory worker and an amateur skydiver. She joined the Air Force as a part of the Cosmonaut Corps and was commissioned as an officer after completing her training. After her dissolution of the first group of female cosmonauts in 1969, Tereshkova remained in space program as a cosmonaut instructor. She later graduated from the Zhlovsky Air Force Engineer Academy and requalified for spaceflight, but never went to space ever again. She retired from the Air Force in 1997, having attained the rank of Major General. Isn't that interesting? You know, you would think that, you always hear about Russia being like anti-woman and stuff like that, but, Obviously, this throws a wrench in that whole idea. The first women in space, you'd think it'd be from like France or America or a Western state, but well, I guess, I mean, she could have went into space because she was trying to maybe get away from toxic masculinity. Maybe that's, or maybe the evil toxic men threw her into space as like, because they were scared themselves to go. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think she worked her way up and, she did that. So that's good. Anyway, for this pro-Russian message, a little interesting fact since it's, Women's History Month and, she was the first female to go into space. I thought it was fitting to maybe share that. So, very cool. All right, everyone, have a wonderful Thursday.